Zamani Dlamini is a final year nursing student at the University of Zululand. He was born in Hlabisa and, like Patrick, is a recipient of a bursary from the Mtombo Youth Development Foundation, an organization which targets rural youth as future healthcare professionals in their communities.
I was so happy and actually I was excited with those news when I received the letter that now you must come and register at the University of Zululand to do nursing. My dream now come true, and even when I'm walking the passages I walk tall because I feel this inside my heart because nursing is my calling.
Of the 1,200 medical students graduating in South Africa annually, only 35 end up working in rural areas in the longer term. Research shows that students from rural areas are more likely to go back home to serve the communities they grew up in.
I believe that nurses are most important people so maybe in someone's life, because they care for the sick people, and then also I think that if ever maybe one day I'll be sick and then I will be sleeping in bed in the hospital and then the nurse will come and nurse me, so that's why I feel so honored.
Zamani is one of 150 students the foundation is currently financially supporting through their higher education.
The people from the area can be a solution to solve those problems. That's one thing. They are coming from the area. They know the language. They know how people are suffering from the area. Maybe they have been affected by that.
It's been a long and challenging journey for Zamani to get to where he is today. He is going back home to visit his family in Bembeni, a small village on the outskirts of Hlabisa. Unlike Zamani, many young men from the area leave to find work in the cities and never return. He is greeted by neighbors and family, all grateful that he wants to come back home after graduating.
I don't know whether I'm a hero or whether I'm a star to them, because I'm the first one to do BK degree in my community. There are some of the nurses in my community, but there's no one who went to university as I did, doing BK degree as I did.
Zamani is one of 20 people who live here at his grandfather's house. Like most families in the area, no one at home is formally employed, and there are 11 children who need to be put through school. It was here, where his grandmother died, that his desire to be a nurse first took root.
She would say, one day I want you to be a nurse. So because you did care for me, you did give me some food, you did give me some water, and then I believe that one day you're going to be a nurse. And then Gogo, and then say, Gogo, where I must start this nursing? Then I don't know, but you must be a nurse, because in this way you can't live without any paper in your hand. With the paper, you can be a hero, and you can be, the paper for you can be the key to any door in this world.
Zamani's parents separated when he was very young, and his grandparents raised him. The only source of income in this household is the odd jobs his 82-year-old grandfather gets as a bush mechanic. A quietly determined child, Zamani was always a dedicated student.
When it's come to studying, it was very difficult during that time, because you're supposed to come back from school, go and fetch some keklis from my grandfather, and then there's little bit working, a mechanical work. My uncle will ask, "Yeah, come here, we're working and there's no time for school." So it was very difficult. And then maybe I start studying about 9 o'clock because I was busy with mechanic things, fixing some trucks, fixing some cars. So it was very difficult, but so during that time I was using the Kengli to study.
Zamani persevered and with single-minded focus got himself through his studies.
The main concern that I was having is about my family. My family is not living the better life, because my grandfather is there we are so many in this house, so I've got two dreams here: to uplift my family and then to do my nursing degree. By doing nursing degree, I will also uplift my family, and then I was so focused on what I was wanting to do.
Zamani's high school was 15 kilometers away, and with no money for taxi fare, he had to make the long journey on foot.
I'm supposed to leave at 6 o'clock and then 2 hours journey to my school, and then it was difficult for me. And then I will always ask for the rent to my uncle, to my aunt, just because I used to have something to eat in the school, and then they would just give me that rent, and then I feel so great.
Things were different when Zamani completed his matric here. There were 300 students per class. He also had no one to look up to, a role he can now play for these students as he understands how poverty can threaten one's dreams.
I always say born poor, but destined to rise, and to rise to the greater heights. And then because where I came from, people will just look at me down, you won't be this, you won't be this. They were judging me, but I said to myself, I want to be a nurse.
Zamani wants these students to see that someone from their community and who went to their very school has realized his goals.
So during that time, I was only knowing of the 4 careers. It was a teacher, a nurse, a doctor, and a police. We were not knowing that there are many careers, biochemistry, physiotherapist. We've got no idea about that because there was no thing that known as career guidance.
For many of these students, their only hope of studying further is through a bursary. However, even making applications can be impossible.
When I was doing my grade 12, I was used to apply to some hospital to send my application for some training. It was difficult because there was no man for buying those envelopes. I was having no idea how to write an CV, how to write an application letter.
Zamani's applications failed and he knew that his fate was sealed. He had to go in search of work.
Our parents are not educated, and then if they see young men growing, they think of, oh my God, this son must uplift this family, this son must go to work. To go to the mines, that was one of, I don't know whether I would say community belief, or because everyone who finished matric at that time was going to Johannesburg, and then it was not my dream to go there.
While many of his contemporaries went to the mines in Johannesburg, Zamani returned to work alongside his father at Tlabisa's taxi rank. His time here was the darkest period in his life, where he could feel his dreams slipping away from him.
Waking up in the morning, know exactly that you won't get anything much for living, you won't earn a lot of money for living, and you know that a lot of people are behind you, they are looking for you, whether you will come with something to eat afternoon. So those things were just discouraging me. I know that if you go for studying, you won't earn anything. So that's why I just lose the hope somehow.
For Zamani's friends, little has changed. He remembers how he desperately held on to the hope that one day he might be a nurse.
So this little money, 250 per week, 150 per week. So it was too little for me to go to the university, up until my father promised that he will give me maybe some goats to sell, and then I will have that money. But I was having that dream even if I was a taxi driver. So I feel so happy if the nurse will come to my taxi, and then I will chat a lot with the nurse because I was wanting to be a nurse.
One day he heard about the Mtombo Foundation scholarship, made his application, and his life changed forever.
In my area, they would say nurses are the people of the high class, and then they will say, you Zamani, we just want to be people of the high class. And then I say, no, I want to be a nurse. I want to serve the very same community, the very same you that you're saying, I want to be the people of the high class. And then I will serve you, and also your parents will be served by myself.
Now, what about the dilemma of being a poor rural student? That's up next.